held their nerve fantastically well.
Absolutely.
This is not as a result of one folding or the other.
No.
They've both played beautifully to this point, Ken.
No, there hasn't been a litany of mistakes whatsoever. Both of them have played to the best of their ability. There's no doubt about that. And what an exciting final frame we are in for. The crowd are loving it. And I tell you what, Steve and I are loving it here as well.
Brilliant sportsmanship. Shake of the hand. Here we go. It all comes down to this.
Bingham to break.
Yeah. What a reception there for both players, and Stuart Bingham still had that little smile on his face.
I don't think I've seen a standing ovation for a final frame before, but 50% of the audience were standing up there as both players came back into the auditorium.
Well, who is going to get the first chance here? Surely he's not looking at putting a red onto the black and planting the red into the right corner pocket. He did try it, believe it or not. He had safety in mind, but he eyed that plant up. So who is going to get the first chance?
One player might have the ultimate elation in a few minutes' time, and the other player will have the ultimate disappointment.
Just a gap past the pink to flick off the reds. It's coming up a little bit short. But there's nothing easy there for Judd to go at. Well, could we possibly, after having 4 centuries in 5 frames, have a tactical deciding frame? It doesn't matter what sort of frame we get, it's going to be exciting.
He's just itching to take this red on, but there's no path back into baulk. He's just looking if there's a gap. There is a slight gap there, but it's one of those gaps. If you get the pot, you get the gap, but is it worth the risk? Because if you miss the pot, you're going to career into reds.
Well, look at that beautiful Crucible Theatre. Look at how the balls are situated.
He's having another look at that gap I talked about a few moments ago. But if he goes through the gap, I'm not too sure whether he can miss the 2 reds that are on the cushion.
Well, the yellow's slightly in the way. It's hampering his cue action there.
Wow.
Well, it's not all that bad. He wanted a thinner contact on that, but he's got everything safe. That's one way of getting that cue ball back up the table. He wanted a thin snick on this, but he'd rather have it in the pocket than wobble in the jaws and stay there.
With his hand on the table, though, Stuart has the first chance of playing a very telling safety shot here. It's all about missing blue and brown in playing this next safety shot. Be playing thin off this red he's closest to. Like to get in between the gap of the brown and green. I suppose you could play the one just below the pink, but then of course you'd have to miss the kiss on the green if you play that one. Whichever red he decides, can't afford to hit a baulk colour.
We could finish up with quite a long tactical frame, as I mentioned earlier, after all the fireworks and both players having 2 century breaks, but you never know how the frame is going to pan out. This could be tension all the way. It seems a pretty straightforward shot, just to run up between the green and brown. I know he's trying to find a very awkward spot, but it's pretty straightforward, you'd have to say. And in the end, he's hit the green after thinking for so long about it. Just the 4 points on the score. That was from the in-off that Judd had. In the last frames, they were all very quick frames, the last 4 or 5. There's 2 reds he's looking at. I don't think they're a plant. He's having a glance. That's the 2 that Stuart was looking at. I'll tell you what, they're going to the left of the pocket, but he'd have to hit the left side of the first red to be able to squeeze that. So it's not on from where he's sitting. What has he spotted? Because he's marching around the table there. Can he make that plant, do you think? And that is very unlucky, because he did pick out a little beauty there. Why, how did he get through that gap? And he's unlucky to finish where he has. The brown will cut back in.
Sorry, Dennis, yes, I was just going to say it's Stuart who's got the first chance, but not a great scoring chance where the pink and black are. There's a little bit of mileage in playing the brown into the pocket and trying to just play the little cannon into the red and pink. It's on from there.
And it's all about the brown here. Right in the centre of the pocket. How's the cue ball? Oh, I think he's unlucky, you know. I don't
5.
think he's dropped on anything. Now, what does he see into that corner pocket? Well, if he takes that on, he's going to screw back with a little bit of safety in mind. I mean, we've seen 2 frames, one with plants, and there's another.
6.
Slightly the wrong side of the blue, but has a very good angle on this blue to play in between green and brown. 2 cushions for those reds to the left of the pink. Until he gets the pink or black into play, this is not ideal.
Well, how's your luck this time, Stuart? Might be on the one to the right of the black spot. But where does the colour come from? He might just have a gap, you know. If he pots this red, he's looking at it. That's the gap that he's looking at, so he might be able to get back up towards pink or blue. The pink's tied up, but the white will be coming towards that red and pink.
If he plays it plain ball, Dan, I think he can kiss into the red and pink. Is that worth the risk? Doesn't want to put any side on at this stage of the game, do you, when he's playing with the rest?
If he pots this plain ball, he'll find the gap, and every chance that he could go through the other little gap near where the cue ball is, or cannon into the red and pink. But make sure of the pot. He's played it with side, which made the pot more difficult.
12.
He still looks pretty calm and collected, does Stuart Bingham, it has to be said. He's looked like that throughout the whole of this year's World Championship. The biggest frame of his life.
The blue's available into the corner or the middle. Middle is his choice.
It's amazing. The crowd knew that that blue wasn't in. The crowd that were in line with the middle pocket knew before we did.
Stuart's had one chance. Judd now has his chance.
Wow, what a bounce he's had off that cushion there.
1.
He didn't expect the white to come this far up the table.
Yeah, sure.
He's asking for the cue ball. He's just looking at the cushion there. It did get a fast bounce off it. It wasn't the baulk cushion, it was the side cushion that flew off. Look at that. But he can get onto a red from the blue without any problem.
Can he get onto this red with an angle to bring the pink into play? That doesn't look any good, is it?
Tell you what, Willie, that was just pure adrenaline, because there's a couple of reds will go into the left corner pocket.
6.
And he just hit that far too hard. Those reds to the left of the pink were available. That was just pure adrenaline that caused that.
Stuart sitting in his chair. Would imagine that he's going to come back to the table after the next shot unless Judd decides to play this very dangerous red.
He's got a kick. He's got a horrendous kick. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, the red jumped and straightened up.
And worse still, the pink's now available into the right-hand middle pocket, but I don't think he's got an angle on the red to be able to get onto that. He may have to play it for blue or baulk colour off the red in the middle. It's all about the red next to the pink. If he can go red colour and then get onto that red next to the pink, he'll have a chance to win frame and match. The wrong side of the blue though.
But at least with those two reds to the left of the pink, you can still leave a medium length pot. I'm not sure if they'll both pot. One of them certainly will. So which of those two reds are available?
6.
He's coming around to see if he can get on the pink.
Just looks like he can play a little stun run through to get onto the pink in the middle. He's played it nicely.
7.
This will just flick the other red away from there. So there's still 3 or 4 reds available. Just the gentlest of flicks on that red. Pink having to go on the black spot.
13.
Not a bad thing. It's still available into the right corner.
Steve Davis came up with a great point in the studio when he was saying that Stuart Bingham is so match hardened. He's played in every single tournament.
Yeah, but he hasn't played in anything like this, the semi-final of the World Championship. He's waited 20 years for this chance. One of the best liked players on the circuit.
Another example of tension there. Played for the blue in the middle. Look how far he's overscrewed it.
And you were right down the cue action there, and it's gone wrong. Now he's looking at the cushion as well.
18.
Just because of the red, Dennis, 2 up from the reds in the left-hand side, he'd like to play the white over the left-hand side, just in case he missed this. Because if he plays it plain ball for yellow or brown or even the blue, if he misses it, that red will be on. He's playing the cut. This is a bit tricky. Very well done. How's the cue ball?
He needs a favourable kiss.
19.
And he hasn't had it. Well, he's looking to see if he can get to the potting angle of the green, but I can see him just stretching his neck there. That's an indication of how tense it is out there.
Well, the cut yellow, the white's going to be careering around the table. Obviously the one red in open play, the one just below the pink will pot in the right-hand corner. So if he does screw the yellow in, 3 cushions, he can get onto that red next to the pink.
Well, he's definitely looking at the angle of the yellow. This is a brave shot to take on at this stage. That was the thinnest of snicks there. Not easy to control the cue ball.
It's amazing, Dennis, how he underhit that. You'd think he'd bound to come higher than that.
Right in the center of the pocket again.
32.
Well, this 32-point lead where the balls are is probably equivalent to about 60 or 60-point lead with balls in open play. So just got to not miss anything easy.
Hasn't quite got into that. He played for the one that's next to the pink. But it's quite understandable.
27.
And Judd knows that it's not straightforward here for Stewart. But if that white had a ran to where he wanted, he could have potted the red and opened things up. But he come up quite a way short.
If he's not going to play the pot, I think he should try and play safe off a different red, because the black's tied up at the moment with that red being where it is. But if he's going to play the pot, that's okay.
If the red is tight on the cushion, it's slightly easier. You can play it with the side. Well, it's absolutely frozen on that cushion. So if you hit the cushion and the ball at the same time, every chance you could cut it in, but boy, you'd have to be very precise.
Would you want to leave that red there, Dennis, with the black being out of commission?
Bingham 27.
But it's not a snooker, and as you said, Willie, that has freed the black up. Thought long and hard about trying to chip the red in, and then, but we've got fun and games now because there's a red up the other end of the table.
Stewart didn't gain any advantage from that last shot he played. In fact, you know, he's made it slightly easier. That 37-point lead with the black safe as well was colossal. Not so big now.
I mean, he can get past the green to hit the cushion with side, but the only problem with that, see where he's got the cue there, the only problem with that, the red could collide into the brown or yellow. So you're going to have to get this one spot on, Stewart. If he misses the brown or yellow with the red, it's a good shot.
Played the shot very well, but he has left a tempter for Judd. Decided to wait for a better chance. Stuart Bingham now would wish that red was still to the left of the black and tight on the cushion.
Well, is Judd going to get a chance to get back into this deciding frame? As we've said a few times, 4 centuries and 5 frames, and now this tactical battle to see who can get themselves into tomorrow's final. I think that's okay. Everything's covered into that right corner. Well, is it? Judd's having a long, hard look. Yeah, I think they're all blocking each other. you can see nothing available. The final starts at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Which of these great players is going to be taking on the magician, Sean Murphy, who was in the practice room at 10 to 10 in the evening? Do you think he's up for it? Well, you can hear a pin drop in the Crucible Theatre now. Little did this audience think we were going to go down to a deciding frame. It's trying to find a spot that'll make it awkward, but that red up past the yellow, spoiling things. Starting to open up. Well, I don't know if he can get past the pink, Willie. There's a red that might possibly cut into the pocket, but it's not the sort of shot you'd want to be taking on at this stage. But he's looked at it. He's looked at it a couple of times.
Can he get through to it?
Well, he got down there as if he was going to take it on, but you can see enough of it. But it's such a difficult, surely not at this stage. I don't know if he's trying to just hide the white in behind the black. Couldn't really get the snooker. It was just a containing safety. No, not that plant, surely.
I suppose the only thing that could be in his favour, if he does play the plant, he can rest on the other red and not leave anything on.
Wow. What a shot. What a shot. One.
Look where the cue ball is though, Dennis, should he have missed it?
Listen, those are tough enough to pot without planting one onto the other. That was a terrific shot. He's hampered slightly here, but well, I think Judd will be in shock after he's seen that plant go in.
Gets nicely onto this red. He could get into the final of the World Championship. It's there.
Well, I'll tell you what, Stuart Bingham. As he looks round at the scoreboard, he's had at least 4 plants in the last 5 or 6 frames. He's picked out some beauties, but that could be the key to him getting into the final.
Nine.
And Stuart's team will be backstage. Everybody's palms will be perspiring. Steve Feeney has worked with Stuart for a few years now, and he's had so much success, but this will be his greatest ever win. 49 ahead, just the red, and any color. And Judd Trump, well, he come back to level at 16 each, but look at that picture. He was odds-on favourite to lift the title after Ronnie went out, but Stuart Bingham had other ideas. Absolutely brilliant.
18.
This likeable player deserves everything he gets, and he must. The
19.
feeling that inside is unbelievable. I don't know what he played to get on there. I think. Well, Judd
Stuart Bingham, 19.
is coming to the table, but barring snookers, he's conceded.
Stuart Bingham.
What a match these boys have provided for us. Unbelievable snooker. Judd Trump come back and give us a deciding frame. And this crucible crowd are giving Stuart Bingham a standing ovation. And doesn't he deserve it? What a performance. He gets himself into the final of the World Snooker Championship for the very first time. 17-16. Fantastic, boys.
It has